All right. Black Power is the General Seti, and I'm black at y'all ass again with this real fucking talk. Y'all know what it is, KingSeti.com, online marketplace, all official General Seti products. Go check me out. Got the classic DVDs, t-shirts, hoodies, got Scullies on the way, African comedic jewelry, you know what I'm saying? Posters on the way, tapestries. You got to check me out, KingSeti.com online marketplace. For all my family out there, for that exclusive General Seti, I want y'all to go over to my Patreon, General Seti. Y'all see it right down there. Sign up, become a patron. Got a fly lecture coming up tomorrow. The ancient Egyptian origins of hip hop. Guaranteed to rock niggas up out of they sleep. Guaranteed, you know what I'm saying? And so when it gets so hot that I can't have it on YouTube, I can't have it on my Patreon. And check me out, my Patreon got over close to 100 exclusive live streams. You feel me? I go live on my Patreon just showing family that I take it up a notch. Some niggas just drop whatever they want to. I go live on my Patreon, so that's exclusive for the family. Got almost 100 videos over there. So until when it gets so hot that I can't have it on YouTube, I can't have it on my Patreon. Of course, I take it over to Seti University, GeneralSeti.com. Got 500 videos on the site right now. Even got that new joint. You understand? The Uralian Monkey. See, I had to take it over there because it was so goddamn hot. You know what I'm saying? It would have tilted the fucking internet over. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm putting in that good. I'm almost in my stride now. You know what I'm saying? I just feel it like every time I shoot, that motherfucker going in at this time. You see what I'm saying? And so today we're gonna be dealing with, of course, the Orpheus, Orphic mysteries exposed. A lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they may know and then they may not know. You understand what I'm saying? But it's a Greek myth, and for the frats and fraternities and this, that, even in the Freemasons, even in Theosophy, you know what I'm saying? This so-called crucified Savior. You know what I'm saying? One door always leads to the next door. You feel what I'm saying? And so as I was going deep off into the Rosicrucians. You see what I'm saying? I see that they was speaking highly of this crucified Savior known as Orpheus. And he supposed to be, the greatest of the Greek poets. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know if he was semi-deity, you know what I'm saying, or not. I don't know if he was semi-deity, but what was very distinct about Orpheus was that he descended into the underground, to the underworld, you know what I'm saying, and returned. You know what I'm saying? Not many deities did that. You see what I'm saying? And so many people, spoke of Jesus in the same breath when they spoke of Orpheus. You know what I'm saying? But nobody ever spoke of Osiris. You see, and so what we, as we get into this occultism, see, some motherfuckers, when they get into it, they don't show the origins of where all this shit come from. You know what I'm saying? And so as I go through one door and come into another room, you understand, and I become aware of some things, is always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? For me to open up this chamber, because you're going to hear it out there. Nah, and as I get into it, I brought Orpheus up in my serpentine language decoded, because in the root of his name, when I will get back off into, You see that the root of his name is serpentine. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go over that again. And as I dug deeper into, the so-called history, because see, the thing is about Orpheus, he's one of the mystery systems of ancient Greece. So you had to be initiated to become, and so this was an enlightenment, into the secrets of the universe. And, as we speak about, as I get deeper into this, you're going to see how, the African tradition has been plagiarized once again. Once again, it's been plagiarized, and they know it, and they didn't slipped up, or maybe they didn't slip up, and reveal the truth, because another thing was that Orpheus was slain. And when he was slain, he was torn into many, many pieces. You see what I'm saying? And that sounds very, very similar to Osiris. So, as I was studying, all these crucified saviors, you know what I'm saying? And like some, not many descend into the underworld and come back. You see what I'm saying? And so even as I was looking at Hercules, he's another one of these crucified saviors that, I think Hercules was also killed, went to the underworld, but he was reclaimed by his father Zeus and was given a position as a full deity on Mount Olympus. That sounds very similar to Jesus Christ too. You see what I'm saying? And so, when we get into the root of this, and we're going to see that, much of what they call Greece, the Grecian world, that's the last end of, the African tradition. Anytime you see white people show up, the story over with. You know what I'm saying? The story over with. When you see white people, black people was there, and they was there for many thousands and thousands of years. And but when you see white people show up, the end. That's all you have to say. The end. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, a whole nother, wicked tradition begins at that point. And so, Africans, do you Etruscans, what we know, who lived in what today is Italy. Before the Roman, it was the Etruscans, and they sided with Africa. You know what I'm saying? They even sided with Carthage. You understand what I'm saying? Against Rome. You know what I'm saying? So they were most definitely in the African tradition, or the African coalition of empires. You see what I'm saying? And so, our people, and we'll see, we have been identified by the serpent, and a lot of people have taught, so anything has dual properties. You see what I'm saying? Everything and anything has dual properties. So as you see, the serpent is many times looked at something because what? Shit, that motherfucker strike out, bop, and hit you with that venom. So, in that sense, it can be looked at as, something that could be a negative. But in many instances, in most instances in the African world, from Africa through South Asia, from East South Asia to West South Asia, you see, the serpent was looked at as a symbol of immortality. You see what I'm saying? Immortality. As the snake sheds its skin, it leaves one life and go into a new life. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to see what the Egyptians called the Ouroboros. You understand what I'm saying? And again, you're talking about the serpent and his tail and his mouth symbolizing infinity. You understand? Immortality. And that was the most ancient, in ancient Egypt is where that symbol has its most ancient documentation. So that's where it came from. You know what I'm saying? We got to get up out of all this, you know what I'm saying, praising another motherfucker for stealing our shit. You know what I'm saying? And so as I do this, a lot of people don't know it. As I crack Orpheus, I'm cracking a lot of motherfuckers in Freemasonry because they speak of these mysteries. You understand? As I crack this motherfucker, and so the motherfuckers over there, and you'll be able to identify them because if you hear them motherfuckers speak his name and speak the mystery, you got to ask what motherfucking mysteries. You understand what I'm saying? Because, as Walter Williams has taught us, and I'm so highly, thankful that that brother gave us the wisdom of the ages, is that the Greeks didn't even have a fucking alphabet until they come into Egypt with Alexander and the Ptolemies. That's when they receive an alphabet. You see what I'm saying? So and that's why when you pressure them, just like you pressure motherfuckers out the Bible, I put their back on the wall. You understand what I'm saying? I say, goddamn it, if you had an alphabet, you understand what I'm saying? And then you had all these institutions that you continue to brag about. Where's the fucking scrolls? Where's the books? Not only where is the original, wasn't mass produced at that time? Can you present any of that? And the answer will be no. So, many of the so-called Greeks, such as Plato and Socrates, they believed that Orpheus was some type of mythological character. And I'm thinking to myself, well, goddamn it, Plato was a mythological character. But I say, well, goddamn, why would they say that? You know what I'm saying? And another thing that was brought to my consciousness, but this was brought from the Rosicrucians, just like Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle was supposed to have went to Egypt. See, right there, that cracks the story wide the fuck open. You see, right there, cracks it wide open. You understand? So he supposedly went to Egypt and learned, this so-called advanced, science of the universe, and which he encoded in poems. Okay? And so the people, I guess people who supposedly following Orpheus read his poems and within, but this is only done in secrecy. You can't be one out and all. You got to be initiated, just like the mystery system of ancient Egypt. You had to be initiated. So all of them is kind of trying to mimic that which we had in ancient Egypt. You had to be initiated, but can't nobody document one motherfucker that was initiated, because once we break it down again, we see that number one, there's no historical evidence of an Orpheus. But we're going to dig deeper, because when we pull back the veil, we see what they trying to usurp. You see what I'm saying? Now, let me bring this on up. Okay. Let me see. Is that as high as it's going to get? All right. Okay. Now, if you look to the left right there, we got to be and understand that anything we do is in a harmonious rhythm. You see what I'm saying? As black people. You see, we invented music, number one. We invented poetry. You understand what I'm saying? And poetry is music. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and so when you look at all of the instruments, from the drum to the harp to the flutes and all of these things, these are African creations. You see what I'm saying? And we could document it because we could show that we were playing these instruments before even there was a goddamn Greece or Rome in recorded history. You see what I'm saying? So you see David also played the harp. You see Orpheus was also reported to have played the harp. You see, and when I thought about poetry, I said, well, damn. You see what I'm saying? Imhotep was also a poet. You see what I'm saying? That was to his, his credit of being a multi-genius. That Imhotep was also a poet. And when I looked at the particular harp that, you see right there, it looks very similar to what they call the shin or the shanu, which is the top of the ankh. You see what I'm saying? Which is also a symbol for eternity. You see what I'm saying? I noticed that right off the bat. You see? And so let me come down. So you see Orpheus now. When I get down, and I'm going to move through this because I'm not going to, line it up because there's so much information and I was just throwing it into the pot. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to run with it as I come to it. So you see, as I will get down that Orph is a serpentine root word, whether it's in the beginning or it's at the end or it's inside of the word. Orc, O-O-R, is also serpentine. You see what I'm saying? Which we will get, and I'll show you various words to prove exactly what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? So as you got Orpheus, you got Morpheus. You see what I'm saying? Which is with an M on it. And he's also serpentine, which is the Greek god of dreams. You see what I'm saying? And because Orpheus was the god of music, this is where you get orchestra. You see what I'm saying? Orpheus orchestra. You see? And so, serpentine, that's when you get, like, when you look into the Lord of the Rings, and what was the evil they was called orcs. You see what I'm saying? Serpentine, green, org, like Shrek. You see an org, which they show him to be, and that's serpentine. But that's that's their persuasion to show it as something evil and ugly and shit like that. So they used and created those terms to throw you off. That's what they're going to do all the time. You see? And so I put that in there, Orphism. That's the religion itself. Okay? And so I put it in there, but this is in the African expression. When you talking about Orphism is the actual supposed religion of Orpheus. And that's the sacred serpentine science of immortality and resurrection. Because that's what the serpent represents. And so we talking about occult poems revealing the mysteries of creation and the resurrection of the soul. And I don't know how I spell that, but we'll get back to it. You see what I'm saying? And so when I thought about that, number one, I thought about the golden age of hip hop. You see, when you're talking about poetry, you see, and what it did for us at that time, because we was in the motherfucking underworld. We was in the underworld when goddamn hip hop came in. We was in the underworld. Most of these goddamn cities out here was doing so fucking bad, it was ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? And so within that came one of the greatest movements of the modern era. Niggas couldn't hold on to it to no great extent, but it was us coming from up under the ground, from out of the underworld, to take precedence on the surface once again. It was as if we resurrected using poetry. You see what I'm saying? Over that drum. You see? That's one thing that's key about African people. We gonna have that drum. Because the drum is the elixir to the soul. Now that's the one thing about a European orchestra. One of the only goddamn things they ain't gonna have in the goddamn orchestra is a damn drum. You see what I'm saying? I I don't even think they got no goddamn drum. You know what I'm saying? But they be out there without the drum. And so that's one thing that's very, very key, is that the drum is the elixir to the African soul. Soon as it get to beating, you know what I'm saying, it's going to open up chambers. You see what I'm saying? All through the spirit of African people. Now, what's very, very key, that the information that comes behind it could be very uplifting, enlightening, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be very damaging to the spirit and the mind. You know what I'm saying? And they know that. That's why they control, you know, all our music. You know what I'm saying? That's real, you know, because music is poems. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it is. And so they know to control that. You understand? Because the things that we say, you know, move the world. Now, that's one thing about Orpheus. They say Orpheus, his poems were so moving, that he can make inanimate objects come to life. You understand what I'm saying? He could make the dead come up out the grave. You understand what I'm saying? When he started to sing and, you know, and play his harp, gods would weep. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, beasts, animals, and would come, and this is where they say music calms the savage beasts. You see what I'm saying? And so this is how powerful he was, you know, with that. And so, you know, what's very key is I was watching a movie, and it was called Jason and the Argonauts. This old Greek, you know, myth where he went to looking for the golden fleece. You know what I'm saying? And in that movie, you're going to see that now this is an all-white cast. You know what I'm saying? Orpheus was the only black man, only black person on the motherfucking movie, as I could remember. But a black man played. And so that's just like in the respects of what they call the metal now, the Heka. You understand what I'm saying? That's for your understanding, which was the matter of magic and medicine. You see what I'm saying? It was also symbolic for words of power. So when you're looking at what they call the Maduna, those are poems. A lot of that is poetry. Black people don't write no vain nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that those are looked at as poems. You know what I'm saying? They're going to say spells and all those are poems. You understand that? Because everything we do, you know, as far as ceremony and rituals and this, that, and the third is intertwined with the drum. Okay? We're not just going to be out there. You're going to hear that damn drum because that's going to drive, you know what I'm saying, the energy to the highest level. You understand what I'm saying? And they know how to play that drum, you know, and when they're ready to take you to the next, they'll speed it up, or, you know, they'll hit it a little harder. You understand what I'm saying? And they'll get it popping, and then they'll start driving it to shit, you ready to jump up and, you know, and if it's about wartime shit, you'll be ready to run through a wall if necessary. And so all people have used that. That's why when you listen to all that shit about Hitler and shit, you see how they come through and then they put that music, that wicked ass music behind. And they show Hitler back there and shit because they know, you know what I'm saying? How that, you know, damn, you know, it's about to go down. You see what I'm saying? So this is the actual movie, Jason and the Argonaut. And this shit came out in the early 2000s. You see what I'm saying? And this is Orpheus. You see it right there with the lyre. You understand what I'm saying? And he the only black man in the goddamn, and I didn't really know his power at that time. I said, you got all these strong motherfuckers and this, that, and the third. And I'm thinking to myself, out of all the motherfuckers, you got the nigga on there playing songs for these crackers. You understand what I'm saying? I say, man, this shit is some bullshit. But I didn't know the power of him at that time. You know what I'm saying? And so, as it is spoken in the mysteries of Orpheus, the whole universe is a musical scale or number or tone. Okay, so when we looking at Orpheus, the myth of Orpheus is only the distorted myth of Osiris. You see what I'm saying? That's just like when you're talking about, they play this shit over and over. Hiram Abiff and Solomon. You see what I'm saying? Hiram Abiff and Solomon. So at that time, Hiram Abiff is Osiris, slang. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if they chopped him up or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how the whole story go, but I know he was murdered. You see what I'm saying? I know he was murdered. And so let me come down. Now, another key thing about Orpheus that Dionysus, see, he's another one. In the Orphic mysteries, Dionysus is the main character. It's not Orpheus, even though Orpheus is the supposed originator, even though he going through this damn near the same thing as Dionysus. I don't know if Dionysus was slain, but Dionysus was slain as a child. You see what I'm saying? And so you see here to the left, and I also heard many Greek, like Herodotus, refer to Orpheus that Osiris was Dionysus. I heard it in the book of Herodotus that Dionysus was Osiris. And so you see to the left, Dionysus is in the underworld. Okay, let me blow it up so you can see. You see, Dionysus is in the underworld and was, one of the key factors. If you look down at the bottom, you see the three-headed dog, Cerberus, okay, down there at the bottom. You also see Pan over there with his wicked ass, too. You see what I'm saying? And so you see Dionysus, so he's playing the role of Osiris sitting on the throne in the underworld. You see? And so you see right here, Orpheus in the underworld. Now, for some reason, Orpheus, his lover, you understand what I'm saying, was slain. And so he went to the underworld to retrieve his lover. You see what I'm saying? I'll get to her name in a minute. And so he wasn't successful. Okay, but he did go to the underworld and return. And so this right here shows Orpheus being slain. You see, the followers of Dionysus cut his motherfucking head off for some reason. Even though this guy was the main deity in his mysteries, the followers of Dionysus cut his head off. And I believe it was because he showed reverence to Apollo when he should have been showing reverence to Dionysus. But you see right there, they weren't playing with his ass. You see that lyre over there, you see his head over there. You see? And so you see old fights. It says a Gnostic sect worship the serpent. Okay, old fight. So you already know right there that serpentine. They had essentially the same view as modern psychology. Yeah, I bet. To them, the serpent represented the spiritual principle symbolizing redemption from bondage to the demiurge that created the Garden of Eden and would keep man in ignorance. Okay? Psychologically, the serpent is the principle of gnosis, knowledge or emerging consciousness. The serpent's temptation represents the urge to self-realization in man and symbolizes the principle of individuation. Okay? Now, and so now when we talk about, when we hear about the Garden of Eden, and a lot of people champion the serpent. Say, y'all motherfuckers better go on and eat from that goddamn tree, because goddamn it, God lying like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Go and get that goddamn knowledge. And they ate and they did not die. Not instantly. Now, if you want to talk about, the death of human beings, everybody has an allotted time, then yes, death is attached to, but that's any goddamn way. Okay? Now we're going to be looking at serpentine root words to identify the true meaning of a word. Okay, I'll do some. Now, one of the words is ophi. Okay, you see ophi. Sometimes they'll flip it and spell it ipho. Okay, then sometimes they'll spell it, ophi with an e instead of an I, ophe. And then again, and here we go with orph. Like metamorphosis. You know what I'm saying? When you get, you got, half man, half snake, like they stuck in a metamorphosis, like the Naga. You understand what I'm saying? Like the Naga. So you got metamorphosis, Morpheus, and then you got O-R, like an orchestra, organ, or you can, but organ like the piano organ. And then you got ophi, like philosophy, osophy. So it's osophy, O-P-H-Y, theosophy, philosophy. All of that is serpentine in origin. So you get Sophia, ophi. Sophia is serpentine, okay? And that's where you get Hagia Sophia, where they started, the Christian Christ worship, continuing to evolve the Serapis worship. Then you got Morpheus, you got orator, Typhon, Set Typhon, you know what I'm saying? YPHO, philosophy, theology, and we're going to see as many more words. You got Ophiuchus, which is the serpent bearer of the 13th zodiac sign that a lot of motherfuckers don't talk about. Now, before I go down, I'm going to go through. I don't want to lead it. This shows some of the Ophites. You see right there in the middle, they in a circle, and they got this winged serpent down there in the middle. You see what I'm saying? And so again, and you see here, this is the Ouroboros. You understand what I'm saying? Where you see the African child inside, and many, that could be a image of Hector there. You see what I'm saying? With the finger to the mouth. You understand? For silence. You see what I'm saying? So this is the eternal African race. You see the two lions, which they call Aker. You see what I'm saying? Symbolic to equal. You understand? So that's yesterday and tomorrow. And within the middle is the presence, but that's eternity. You see, symbolic of eternity. Okay? And so you see right there, Sophia, Ophi. You see O-P-H-I, Greek goddess of wisdom. You see, Greek goddess of wisdom. And that's where you get the Hagia Sophia. You see, that's serpentine. That's serpentine in origin. You see? And Sophia, so you symbolizing the feminine goddess aspect of worship in the ancient world. That the temple was the architectural embodiment of the goddess. You see what I'm saying? That's why the interior, which they call the Holy of Holies, was considered the birth room of the god. You understand? The furthest room in the depths of the temple, you see, was considered the Holy of Holies. And so now often, in another way, we talk about basilica. You see what I'm saying? We understand that basilica come from basilis. You see what I'm saying? But this is from a different aspect, but to show you how they come into the serpentine worship from so many different doors and portals. You understand what I'm saying? Coming to the same worship. But it come up out of Africa. That's where it come from. The Nagas of Africa and Asia were already worshiping the serpent, the dragon, tens of thousands of years before Europe, or what we call the Caucasian, was even known on the planet. So we cannot accredit them with a goddamn thing. You see what I'm saying? So you see, basilica comes from basilisk, and the basilisk is the king of serpents. And most of the time was shown with a crown. That's why when you talk about the dragon bloodline or the serpent blood, it's symbolic of a royal bloodline. You see what I'm saying? Now, when the European adopted, you already know it got negative connotation. So you cannot see it as, through the eyes of the European as if you was looking through the eye of the African. That's just not going to happen. We are diametric opposites, and everything we think and see and hear is totally the opposite from one another. So black people ain't, if black people look at something and it define it, if the European look at it and define it without knowing what the African define, he gonna go totally the opposite of how the African would define whatever thing in the universe. You see what I'm saying? And that's just facts. So even seraphim, okay, which was the highest level of angels. You see what I'm saying? Serpentine. You know what I'm saying? They call them fiery serpents. You see, and so those were the ones that was sitting on the right hand of God. You see what I'm saying? And so you see, sometimes they use the A. So they use the A, and instead of the O. But that's the same thing. That's Aphi, seraphim, APHI, to show you that, and then you got Apophis. You see, Aphi. You see, Apophis, which was a great serpent that, in this instance, was, chasing Ra. And you get that where if you watch serpents, they'll go and eat other animals' eggs. And so when they show the serpent eating the egg, that's symbolic of the serpent trying to swallow the sun. So that shows you right there that the planets and many of the large stars were, seen as an egg. Okay, and so you're gonna get that Orphic egg, and you'll see the egg, and then you see the damn serpent. That ain't got nothing to do with no goddamn Orpheus. You can show that on the damn walls of ancient Egypt down there 10,000 years before Greek even was known in history. You see, and so you got the griffin. You get the griffin. And you spell it Grpyhon. So you see the YPHON, that's serpentine. Even the griffin is looked at as a dragon. You see what I'm saying? All the animals that got more than one, you got the back body of a goddamn lion, front body of a damn eagle. Those are looked at as dragons. You see Typhon, you see Typhon here, in Greek mythology as the serpent. You understand what I'm saying? Backing that up. Now, when we talk about Orphic, it said that pertaining to Orpheus, master musician of Thrace. Okay, husband of Eudias. Okay, Eudiacy, whose name of unknown origin was associated with mystic doctrines. See, all that mysticism. So Orpheus is like another, what they call motherfucking whatever that motherfucker, hermetic motherfucker. I'll get his name up there. Let me get his motherfucking name up there. Trismegistus, Hermes Trismegistus. Another made up motherfucker, just like Serapis, trying to get him a back door into the mysteries. You see what I'm saying? Other than that, they ass wouldn't have no door because they was looked at as goddamn barbarians. Okay? He is reputed to have had power to entrance beasts and inanimate objects by the music of his lyre. By the music of his lyre. So this is, and so when we listen to that, see, that's us. That's African people. That's why you can go out there right now. You can go to any goddamn, they didn't move niggas out the audience. And then blues, R&B, rap. You see what I'm saying? They the beast. They say fucking music soothes the savage beast. Now you go out there and look in the goddamn crowd and all you got is goddamn beast. But it only soothes them for a minute. Because goddamn it, once that motherfucking music start playing, goddamn it, they revert right back to being a beast. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about poor, you're talking about music. You see what I'm saying? You talking about music and only African people's music. And I'm gonna just say in the modern world, you understand what I'm saying? Hip hop has moved, you know what I'm saying? Have moved more people from various nations and shit than any other music. Okay? Than any other, the culture of it. And I'm gonna show y'all, and make sure y'all get on over to my Patreon and I'm gonna break that shit down. You know what I'm saying? The ancient Egyptian origins of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But these niggas don't know. Some of them do. But in the end, when the beast got that motherfucking bag, you know what I'm saying? They can entice damn near all them motherfuckers. I mean, goddamn. Out of all them motherfuckers and, that was brought the music, they just gave it away. And really, they didn't give it away because they never had it. You know what I'm saying? When motherfuckers go back and do the real research, the beast was already there. You know what I'm saying? From the very goddamn beginning, he was there. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's us. Now, here we go. The central focus of Orpheusm is the suffering and death of god Dionysus. Listen to that. At the hands of the Titans, which forms the basis of Orpheusm's central myth. So that's right there is Osiris. So when you talk about, that's why I say to motherfuckers, I say, why do motherfuckers think being a goddamn Greek in some goddamn fraternity or some sorority that somehow that equates to being some type of, you high intellectual motherfucker, you living a lie. You living a motherfucking lie. And then you got some that trying to intertwine the African Egyptian with the Greek. I see motherfucking Greeks wearing aunts and shit. They're like a Muslim going in the goddamn going into the mosque with a goddamn cross on it, with crucified cross, crucified Jesus on the cross. You understand? There's a very serious form of confusion there. You see, don't want to let the beast know the truth, but don't want to let the beast go. Got to hold on to the beast. Got to hug him and hold on a little tight. You see, it says, according to this myth, the infant Dionysus is killed, torn apart, and consumed by the Titans. But Orpheus was also torn apart. You see, his head was split. You understand what I'm saying? And so you see here, Dionysus, and it's going to go a little deeper, he was killed as a child and was torn up and was consumed. Okay? In retribution, Zeus strikes the Titans with a thunderbolt, turning them to ash. From these ashes, humanity is born. In Orphic belief, this myth describes humanity as having a dual nature, body inherited from the Titans, and a divine spark or soul, psyche, inherited from Dionysus. Okay? It said, in order to achieve salvation from the Titanic material existence, one had to be initiated Now, right there, you see, that's called the summum bonum. The great is good. And so salvation, the first time you ever heard of salvation, and that's being able to elevate the soul to go on to the higher plane, was in ancient Egypt. You got to go get the stolen legacy right there. So you see right there, when you hear the word salvation, you already know that's when you see the soul going through the judgment scene of my eye. That's the first documented instance where a soul was even, shown to be in a judgment to go on into any afterlife. So that's salvation. So when you hear that right there, but see what they said is that Orpheus went to school. Now I heard that shit from the Rosicrucians, and they say he wasn't there for no 2 days. Shit, from my understanding, they damn near said 20 to 30 years. Now we know that, but they say that all them Greeks. In order to achieve salvation, one had to be initiated into the Dionysian mysteries and to undergo taliti, a ritual purification and reliving of the suffering and death of the God. Now that's much like goddamn Easter and right around the Easter where they go through all that showing how Jesus was beat and this, that, and the third and so on. And then you go and you get communion and shit, this, that, and the third. Orphics believed that they would, after death, spend eternity, listen to this, alongside Orpheus and other heroes. The uninitiated, they believe, will be reincarnated indefinitely. Okay? Okay? It even go on to say, in order to maintain their purity following initiation and rituals, Orpheus attempted to live an ascetic life free of spiritual contamination, most notably by adhering to a strict vegetarian diet that also excluded certain kinds of beans. Okay. Orphic mysteries or Orphism, religious cult of ancient Greece, prominent in the 6th century BC. Goddamn lie. According to legend, Orpheus founded these mysteries and was the author of the sacred poems from which the Orphic doctrines were drawn. The rites were based on the myth of Dionysus, Zagreus, the son of Zeus and Persephone. Okay? Now I'm gonna read this last so we can, get a clear understanding. You know what I'm saying? And y'all most definitely need to get the stolen legacy and tie that in. And you most definitely should tie that in with Walter Williams. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. Ben also. You know what I'm saying? If you studying Dr. Ben, Walter Williams, that stolen legacy, goddamn it, you already light years ahead of goddamn 99.9% of the motherfuckers out here. Just being 100. You know what I'm saying? Now, Zagreus was a minor god in Greek mythology, usually conflated with the god of wine Dionysus. He was worshipped by the followers of Orpheus, and according to their beliefs, he was the son of Zeus and Persephone. After the former took the form of a serpent, Zeus, and lay with her. Zeus' intentions were for Zagreus to succeed him in the throne. But Hera, who was furious of her husband's infidelity, asked the Titans to kill the boy. While Zagreus was playing with his toys, the Titans tried to capture him. He evaded them by taking various animal forms. Now, right there, what does that mean? He metamorphosis. See? Metamorphosis. He checked. That's metamorphosis. So that's serpentine right there. Okay? and goddamn Zeus turned into a damn serpent to impregnate this one. Okay? He eventually took the form of a bull, the Apis, before the Titans seized him, killed him, and ate him. Damn. The myth continues with Zeus realizing what happened and striking the Titans with a thunderbolt. Okay? Now that sounds very similar to after they nailed Jesus to the cross and shit. They started having goddamn earthquakes and all type of goddamn thunderstorms and shit. So you see, you know, they want to say that in the early years they kind of looked at Orpheus and Christ as being very similar. But they damn sure don't want to bring Osiris up, because they're going to, you know, Osiris is thousands and thousands of years older than any one of them. So they're going to really show where it comes from. Okay? It says that the Titans will instantly turn to ashes from the ashes, which were mixed of the vile bodies of the Titans and the holy body of Zagreus arose the humans, thus explaining why they are both good and evil, each individual containing a bit of both kindness and evilness. Persephone managed to find Zagreus' heart, which was still beating, and Zeus placed it into the body of the mortal woman Semele. Semele gave birth to Zagreus again. So he was reborn. So, but see, that's Horus. You see what I'm saying? Now that ain't the exact, but that's what it is. You see, Osiris was crucified. He was slain. You understand what I'm saying? But in his dead state, he was given a spiritual time, you know, by the gods to pass on his seed. You understand what I'm saying? With Isis. And out of that came the immaculate conception of what we call the goddess Horus, Heru. Okay, so that was an immaculate conception. You see? And so, do I need this? Well, we already understand that, you know, as they say, he transformed. So that's metamorphosis. And we understand that Morpheus. And see, if you was watching, you look at his top, you see the serpentine. You can even see the goddamn coat. You understand what I'm saying? Got some type of crocodile serpentine on his coat. So he, you know, if you don't know the story, you won't be able. And so it's very interesting why they chose a black man to play that. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't even dream. When you talk about dreams, you're talking about melanin. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about melanin, and you're talking about the spine. You're talking about the brain. And we know right there in the back, the medulla oblong, which is at the back. You understand what I'm saying? Is where the most concentration of melanin, even more so than the pineal, is in the back. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where you dream. Melanin is how you dream. And so motherfuckers, the beasts ain't dreaming, so they take the melatonin and shit. You understand what I'm saying? To try to dream. You see? And so you see that, and so you see any type of naga is, you know, metamorphosis. It's like you stuck in between changing into a full human or a full snake. So that's metamorphosis. And you see here in this instance of, you know, being in a cocoon, which is the mummified state. You understand? Laying in the mummified state and then going through the rituals with the priests and then being reborn as you move through the various gates in the underworld. You understand? The book of gates, where you come to 12 gates, and there's a goddess at each gate, and there's a question that will be asked, and you got to have the answer so that you could go through that gate. See, and then eventually, when you pass, then you metamorphosize and come into a new life. You see what I'm saying? So metamorphosis in certain respects is very similar to resurrection, coming into a new life. Okay, serpents and music. That's why, one of the, when it came to hip hop, motherfuckers was doing the wave, the waves or whatever they call that shit, which is serpentine, the wave. You know what I'm saying? And so, when we talk about, even science, and we talk about electricity, and we talk about solar energy, all is measured on waves. You see what I'm saying? That's serpentine. That's immortal. You understand? That's the science of eternity. Okay? It's also the science of melanin. Also, we got to speak on that. You understand? In that instance, the spine, which is the nerve connected to the brain, and is also connected to the nervous system, is the nervous system going down the spine, and each spine, each vertebrae has a specific area of the body that in the brain send down signals from the brain to the nervous system that's carried out all throughout the body. You understand what I'm saying? But melanin is the conductor. You understand what I'm saying? And if you live in an oppressed life, your shit we ain't gonna never be able to function on the level that we did when we was in ancient Egypt. We're not gonna be able to function. When you in living oppression, there's no way you could operate on the fullest level, the highest level. So a motherfucker got to break the back of the beast to even operate on the level that we want to operate on. You understand? Healing ourselves and then mastering the science again. So even when you're talking about the serpent representing cosmic dance harmonies of the infinite universe, you see the serpent going back and forth. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about Orpheus, this is music. When you talk about the African, it's music. You see what I'm saying? And it's a balance. And you understand? It's a tone. And if you hit that right tone, and you hear orators. You see what I'm saying? Them great African orators. Malcolm, Collins, Seti. You see what I'm saying? Many other great ones that can move the crowd. See what I'm saying? That's their energy. You understand? And goddamn spine to heat up that goddamn melanin back there or get the glowing. You understand what I'm saying? If you get on a certain level, you see? And you keep stepping through stages. And so you see over there the Hindu that stole a little science. A lot of people think they was the ones that created the Africans was already doing that. You understand what I'm saying? You can go and you see the serpent or the cobra in the bowl down there. You can go to ancient Egypt and show the serpent in the bowl. You understand what I'm saying? You can go and show the serpent. And you see right there, that's what I was talking about, the Shin or the Shinu, which is equates to eternity. You see what I'm saying? Equates to eternity. And so that's very similar to the lyre. You understand what I'm saying? That Orpheus is playing. And you see the sun right in there to let you know what I'm saying? That eternity is also connected to the solar cosmic connection. You're not going to be immortal if you're not connected to the sun. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to have no immortality. So that being connected to the sun lets you know that you're African, that you're the chosen because you're the one that got that divine substance that's blessed upon us from the sun. That's the melanin. You see what I'm saying? Orphic egg. And so this is the orb, and that's another term, orb. You know what I'm saying? Orb, O-R, which is also serpentine. And this is where you get, the Orphic egg. Now anybody know goddamn well this ain't got nothing to do with no Orpheus. You see what I'm saying? Let me come down back up. So when you see right here, you see the Wajet in ancient Egypt. You see the sun. Let me make this white. Let me make this white, because you can't even see the serpent head. So the egg is the sun. The egg is the sun. See, and so I'm breaking it down so you can see this now. Now, when you go back to the Bible, you see the egg is symbolic of the sun. You see, the apple is symbolic of the sun in that instance. You see what I'm saying? So when they show you the serpent and then they show you Jesus got his foot on the serpent's neck. You see what I'm saying? It say in Genesis 13, 3:15, it says, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise you on the head. See, you see, he shall bruise you on the head, and you shall bruise him on the heel. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that. So you see, he crushing that. You understand? He crushed that with religion. You see what I'm saying? To even break your knowledge of knowing that you connected to the cosmos. No motherfucker don't know nothing about no pineal gland. Maybe in the last few years looking on YouTube, they might. You understand? But most people don't know that they connect. They believe that they got to go up there to preacher Reverend Pork Chop and get and have him talk to God. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have no connection to God. You also see the egg. You see in the east is also the dragon in the sun. So you see the winged serpent was first, it's the same as the dragon. So when it says return of the dragon, most people don't understand that is Christ for African people, is the sun. You see, which is also inside of us. You see, it's an energy, return of the Christ. As a people, you understand what I'm saying? Ain't no one motherfucker gonna do shit. So quit looking for no one motherfucker. One motherfucker ain't gonna do nothing for the condition we in. That Christ is a race. You understand what I'm saying? Coming back up. You understand? From out of the, as I showed you with the great year, the 24,000 year, which I can show you at a later time. You see where we at the bottom, but we coming up now. We coming up. We coming around that corner where it ain't a corner. You understand what a point? I don't even know if it's a point. Yeah, it could be a point. And so you see here, you see Ptah was the fashioner of the cosmic egg. You see what I'm saying? And so when you talk about the egg, the yolk is symbolic of the sun. So we talk, how the fuck is and goddamn Ptah was before Egypt. Ptah was older than Egypt. Egypt is named after Ptah. You see what I'm saying? Egypt is named after Ptah. Egypt, Ptah. You see, and so again, you see right there, you see the serpent, then you see eternity. Okay, you see eternity. Now, or you see is also serpentine. That's why you get the Ouroboros, orbit. You see what I'm saying? That's serpentine. You'll see the sun, and you see the serpent wrapped around the sun. That's symbolic of serpentine energy, which is inside of you. As it above, so below. You see, it's inside of you. And that's why many times I done showed you, but I can't throw everything inside. In ancient Egypt, they'll show the sun in the stomach for the man and the woman. This is where you get solar plexus from, to show you that as you build up your system of divinity, that you're going to have, chambers inside of you that's going to light up. And so there's a sun inside of you that's building. It's connected. The sun, the cosmic sun is hitting you not just through the pineal, it's hitting you through your skin, hitting you through your hair. You know what I'm saying? And that energy is coming down through your brain. You know what I'm saying? It's being processed in the brain, and once it's filtered, it becomes melanin. You see, and that melanin goes all throughout the body. And it is the conductor of cosmic energy, cosmic messages, healing you, connecting you to the universe. You just got to tap inside. Motherfuckers go outside, but they got to tap inside too. You spend so much time out there, you got to go inside and tap that energy that's inside of you. You tap. Once you understand you out there, then you got to go inside. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what they call the sun, and let you know that's your will in there. You see what I'm saying? That's your will. to achieve whatever it is that which you want to achieve. You understand what I'm saying? And so we see orbit. And so this is the Ouroboros, the first known representation of the Ouroboros. And you see that's serpentine. You see the O in there, you see it more than one because you see it right here. O-U-R. You see Ouroboros. See? So you just when you get orchestra, organ, orator, you see what I'm saying? And so this is the first time. And so you look and you can see this symbol all over the goddamn world. And nobody's telling you that this is the first known and oldest known representation of the Ouroboros, which is the sun. So you see right there, that's the cosmic representation. Then when you see yourself, you the anthropomorphic representation of the sun, the African. You see what I'm saying? We are the anthropomorphic image of the sun on this planet. You understand what I'm saying? The children of the sun. And you see right there, you see the serpent. And so that's the immortal African race. We here forever, but we got to wake up out of this goddamn sleep we in. You understand? We always giving reverence to some weak shit. Now that I done broke that shit down, that goddamn Orpheus shit. But it's a lot of motherfuckers out there on the slick is teaching that shit. You can go to the academia, you can go into the Greek fraternity, you can go into Freemasonry, and them Rosicrucian motherfuckers is on that shit heavy. They heavy into the old Orpheus. Oracle. You see what I'm saying? Oracle. We already did Oracle. Gods that descended to the underworld and returned. That's another one showing Orpheus. They cracking his head. Look like the one back there look like they got a stone. They tore his ass to bits. You understand? Those are the followers of Dionysus. So I don't know what he did. I think he showed reverence to another god, and they put it on his ass. You understand what I'm saying? But that's another symbolic. Hiram of Bill, Osiris. But Osiris was the first symbolic, slain deity that was resurrected through his son. And people got to understand what is re-erection. Resurrection is re-erection. You see what I'm saying? And passing your seed on and being reborn in your children. He didn't have no children. You see what I'm saying? And so that, the gods allow him an opportunity. Now, Hercules was also, because you could go watch that goddamn cartoon, and you will see that Hercules, he went to the underworld. I don't know if he died to go to the underworld, but you can see that when he went down and returned with his woman. I don't know how. You had to watch the cartoon to see how she died. I don't know how she died. You know what I'm saying? But just like Orpheus, he had to go down there and retrieve his woman. Hercules had to go down there, and not many individuals have went to the underworld and returned. So that's a form of resurrection. So Hercules is also, again, one of the crucified saviors. And he was offered full godship, if you watch the cartoon, because they dropped some science in that motherfucker. They kept it 100 in that cartoon. They showed a lot of shit that the other people don't show. They show him going to the underworld. I don't know if he died or I had to watch it again. And then this is right here when his father Zeus opened up the gates and offered him full deity as a god on Mount Olympus. But he turned it down, and that's in the cartoon to go be with his love. He turned it down. You see what I'm saying? And so you see right here, you see Mount Olympus and you see Hades, and this is when Orpheus and Osiris were both torn to pieces. Orpheus are the sons and daughters of Ra. I just spelled that all wrong. Okay. That's all right. I'll get it together. And so when we talk about, when you look at and what they want to say is Sarah in the Madunat, which is the goose and the sun. You see what I'm saying? Once you understand that the sun is also symbolic of the egg, this is where you get the goose that laid the golden egg. Ain't got nothing to do with no Orpheus. You see, the Orphic egg, ain't no goddamn Orphic egg. That's come from out of ancient Egypt. So we got to be able to, because if you go off into academia, the Western academia, they're going to bombard you with that garbage. And you can break their ass down real quick if you go over this video. Them motherfuckers ain't going to want to hear nothing else from you at all if you break this shit down on their ass. Or any fraternity, sorority, any Rosicrucian, any Freemason, any motherfuckers talking about some mystery, the Theosophists talking about some Orpheus, they got to sit their ass down with that shit. They all that shit is a bunch of Serapis worship where they create all these fictional motherfuckers, give them some type of mysteries and followers that they can't document in history to keep from telling the truth that the story is really about you, that is really about the African race. Sick of that shit. So I already did the two forms of Dare, the goose. He not only Ra, but also Dare. And that I'm kind of fucked motherfuckers over that because they were talking all that flat earth shit. You know what I'm saying? But the symbol of Gad was the goose. And what do goose lay? They lay eggs. You see what I'm saying? But Gad was also shown as a serpent. So you know what I'm saying? Again, you get the serpent and the egg. Now, in a hidden understanding, now we're going to go into a little occultism. You see that the brain is also symbolic of the egg. You see what I'm saying? Because in many instances, if you look at it, it's shaped like an egg. You know? And so when you talk about the serpent, again, you're talking about the spine. You're talking about the nervous system and the brain, the functionings of the body, but yet connected to the cosmos. Not just a functioning body, but a functioning body, African body connected to the cosmos, connected to the sun and the cosmos. Okay, so in that instance, that's the serpent and the egg. Okay, that's the serpent and the egg. When you go into Nubia, you see the Nubian kings had the two serpents, where in Egypt they had one. The two serpents is symbolic of the left and the right brain. You see right side of the brain. You see the twin spirits representing the feminine and masculine halves of the brain. You see? And so when you talk about the Orphic egg in the deeper mysteries, that's dealing with the cosmic connection of African people to the cosmos. And that's why you see the serpent or the cobra sitting on the forehead, symbolic of the pineal, which is a receiver and a sender of this cosmic connection. This is where the sun hits you. You see what I'm saying? This is where it hits you, and it hits you a whole lot of other places. You understand what I'm saying? But the pineal is considered to be the seat of the soul. Okay? It's considered to be. So when you're talking about the Orphic egg, this is what they're talking about. Much deeper and they know damn well they're not connected. You understand what I'm saying? Because when they look in the garden, because they vampires. And when the vampire look in the mirror, he ain't got no goddamn reflection, which means he ain't got no soul. Okay? He ain't got no soul. So all this talking about the mystery, that's why they have to water it down. Because if you explain it like you're supposed to explain it, they know they cannot, engage or benefit in none of the mysteries of African people. Because of the first fucking thing you got to have is, and you got to be African. Not just have no goddamn pioneer. You got to be, and then you got to not only have the pioneer be conscious of it, be connected to the universe, master the makeup of your body and your mind in connection to the universe. You got to master that. You can't just be black and thinking of mother, yeah, you gonna get some energy, but nigga, you ain't gonna be fully operational unless you master it like just anything, any function of the body. You got to be mastering it. So you see here the brain, the egg, the sun. You see what I'm saying? So this is what the Orphic egg is. So you see the spiral as the serpent. You know, as the Naga. What does that symbolically mean? It means infinity and eternity. We eternal. When we connect, we eternal. We can go and move and become anything that's necessary for us to obtain Godship. You see what I'm saying? Deity. Fuck God. Greater than God. Fuck a God. Shit, we greater than the goddamn God. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That's what it's about, immortality. You can't be immortal. Shit, you damn near got 2-3 people left on the planet. You ain't immortal. You leaving up out of here. And so you see here that our peoples understood it. And that's why you see that the serpent just ain't sitting there. It's in the form of the Ouroboros, eternal, infinite. You see it's coming over the top. You understand what I'm saying? Splitting the brain in half, left and right. You see what I'm saying? And right there is the focal point as far as being in the front of your consciousness. You understand? In line with the great one. You see what I'm saying? And so you see here, you see this is what's this brother name? This is the Ka. What is this brother name? I get it. You see what I'm saying? I'm moving so fast, and you see right there in his Sir Dab, you see every day that sun come, which is a temple where his likeness is sitting there, and every day that sun come through there and hit him right there on the pineal gland, as you can see right here, to resurrect, just like the sun resurrect every day. We as African people, spiritually, we will resurrect. See what I'm saying? So that's what it's talking about. So you can stop eating meat and all that. That's what motherfuckers do to stay, but it's deeper than that. You stop eating all the fucking milk and meat and shit. You got to also be African, is what I'm saying. You can't just, the Oppids is doing, they say that they stop eating meat to stay purified. You understand what I'm saying? But that's for them. We are African people. So they saying they could do that without having melanin. You understand? Which is unfucking true. You must be African to be immortal. You see what I'm saying? And so you see right here the substantia nigra. Substantia nigra. And you see right there, back there, in the very back, right there on the stem, the brain stem. You see that dark melanin back there, enriched. You understand? Dopamine producing cells. You understand what I'm saying? And so anything that you habitual about, your ass, you become addicted to that. So what you got to do is use that goddamn melanin, you know what I'm saying, to become addicted to getting on goddamn top. That's what you got to use. Whatever you program on that melanin, goddamn it, it's so so cosmic. So you know what I'm saying, that it just it could carry whatever that information is to the highest level to where it's just you can't stop. You understand what that's why if you addicted to something, goddamn it, you didn't put that shit on that dopamine, which is melanin. And you understand what I'm saying? And you just can't stop. And then once it become addicted, in order to get off of that shit, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Some motherfuckers can't do it. That's why it's so hard. You understand? Because this is a powerful substance. And so I got a couple more because I'm gonna get right over here on the general. I got to keep going now. You see right here, this is Dionysus. And you see right there, this motherfucker got the leopard skin on. You see what I'm saying? He got the leopard skin on like the African priest. That right there just showed. You understand what I'm saying? They can't come talking about no Grecian mysteries. The Greeks ain't never had no mystery. And so I'm going to end with this one. This is the serpent represents the immortality of the sun rays, the crown on the serpent. The serpent on the crown represents the divine kingship, queenship of the sun race to rule the solar dominant realms on the earth. You see what I'm saying? So there it is, family. I've dropped that down for the family today. Drop that down for the family today. And as I tell you, this is going to lead to something else. You see what I'm saying? Because as I was dealing with the Rosicrucian, I heard this Orpheus shit. But I had this, showing the instruments, with David and Orpheus many years ago. I already had that. And when I heard his name while I was just doing the Rosicrucian the other day, I said, and I was doing Lemuria and Atlantis, and this motherfucker Orpheus came up. And then I said, oh yeah, he's a Christ figure to these motherfuckers. And so I said, yeah, let me look off into his ass. Find out that that ain't nothing but another plagiarized version of Osiris. So family, get on over there, kingseti.com, online marketplace, Patreon. Got that hot one tomorrow. The Ancient Egyptian Origins of Hip Hop. Patreon, General Cyrus Suten Seti. Get on over there to generalseti.com, Seti University. Enjoy yourself. Continue to get this wisdom. This is the General Cyrus Suten Seti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black Power.